A recent spate of close calls at SFO and other airports across the country have prompted Bay Area politicians to call for an independent review. Congressman Mark DeSaulnier says that 59 feet is too close to a major tragedy. He's referring to the most high-profile incident back in July when an Air Canada flight dropped to 59 feet after it mistook a taxiway for its intended runway. So he wants officials to talk about these incidents and why it's so hard to recover the cockpit voice recorders when they happen.
It's something that would make any of us flying a bit nervous. And joining us more to talk about it is Congressman Mark DeSaulnier. Now, this has been studied before, right, by the Federal Administration, Aviation Administration, but the reports continue to be inconclusive. I'm a little confused.
So the last one was done in 2011. It had some concerns. I think the point is to make it still statistically very safe to fly. We have a great record for safety, so I'm not concerned when I get on the plane. But there is a pattern with busy airports, and we're pushing more people through, that runway intrusions and near misses are becoming more prevalent. They went up by almost 12% last year.
Okay, you say you're not worried, but I would say if there's been a 12% increase about possible runway crashes because of increased flights, are we talking about airlines cutting costs and moving more planes and more people through at a faster rate?
Well, that's what we've got to find. So in the context of not being worried, yeah, I'm concerned that we're having these near misses. So that's the whole point. What's the protocol? Look at these. What are we learning from them? And how are we adjusting to all those other things? More pressure, more power, more flights getting in runway intrusions. So that's the purpose of what we've asked the General County Office to look at.
Okay, so what I have questions of, and I think people out viewing this have, okay, we have airways, we have runways, we have a government agency that's supposed to be making sure that those line up and everything is safe. Is there pressure coming from the airlines for more volume, and is the FAA doing an effective job of keeping tabs?
That's what we're trying to find out. So there is pressure from companies that make money, but at the same time, you've got to put it in context. So I don't want to be Pollyannish about it. I have a concern. We're trying to make sure they correct it. We want them to look at these near misses in a way that they haven't done heretofore and make sure they learn from them and learn about things that technology is changing, maybe the demographics of the pilots are changing.
I find it a little unsettling that Congress has to ask a federal agency to update its reports and come out with them.
Well, that is unsettling. I've got some pushback from them, but that's also the nature of how the system works. When these things happen, the legislature, Congress, the city council is supposed to look at them and tell the administration to look at them more closely.
I know. What's supposed to happen is the agency overseeing them is supposed to look at them and issue a report. I don't understand. Every time there's a problem that we have to go after
Phil,
make a demand.
I've worked with the NTSB. I've worked with the FAA. We've got their attention. I think they are, but we want to make sure that they're doing everything possible. I think there's a little bit of status quo that they're just comfortable with the statistics they have. So that's our job, is to wake them up.
Times have changed. Speaking of change, fraudulent. That's what President Trump is calling this Democratic memo in response to the Republican memo on the Russian intelligence. You had a chance to read the Republican memo. I don't know if you've read the Democratic memo. What's going on?
I try not to listen to the President of the United States when he calls you fraudulent or tells you you're a liar. I mean,
Well, both sides call each other, right? So what is the status on this?
He's the master of this. I mean, this is a reality game show administration. The fact is, he should just let Mueller do his investigation. And if there's no collusion, then he's innocent. Why does he act so guilty? So let the federal prosecutor, let the committees do their investigation. We should follow the process. We shouldn't come to conclusions ahead of time. And then let the
Why did the demos release this memo that looks so redacted? I mean, there's more, all the specifics seem to be blacked out.
Right. So we did it because Chairman Nunes doctored another memo and edited it, and they released it. So we wanted to have a counterbalance. In the committee, it was voted on by Republicans and Democrats to release it. Then Speaker Ryan and President Trump refused to release it, both of them, so people can see both sides of the story.
Well, they can't see both sides. They're both redacted and they're both questionable,
well,
right?
But
you get two opinions on, I mean.
But you have to put that in context. The reason why they're redacted is there's intelligence material in there that we don't want the Russians to know about, that we know about. So there is a process to make sure that sensitive material isn't out there.
Okay, so then we release sensitive material and redact it. Somebody says you can't say it.
No. You're in a feisty mood today.
Well, why not?
I know.
All right, now I want to go on to a more serious subject, and that's the question of the guns. You know, we may be at a tipping point in America on this, and there is some question raised. If Democrats are willing to go to bat and possibly raise questions about continued funding of a government over dreamers, what about over gun legislation?
I could see us doing that, but it would be the same thing that we asked for dreamers. We didn't say we want our bill to be passed and written into law. What we demanded was a vote. That's what we asked for. That's what McConnell gave Schumer. So I could see the same thing on this. We've had 300 bills introduced in the 3 years I've been in Congress by Democrats with some Republicans for gun violence reduction. Not one of them has had a vote or a hearing. So that's not a healthy democracy.
Okay.
We should have a debate.
Debate is what we're here for.
We just had one.
That's right. Good Morning Sunday. Now.